How's it going, fellas? I'm going to do an in-depth breakdown of Dynasty Guru's team this week. As you guys know the deal, I'm going to give a quick run-through of his lineup currently set right now. Then I'm going to go into far greater detail on breaking down each matchup. All right, so for quarterback, he's got Mitchell Trubisky. Running backs, he's got Todd Gurley and Lamar Miller. Receivers are Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton. Tight end, he's got George Kittle. He's flexing Jarvis Landry this week. He's going for the Chiefs defense, and his kicker is Will Lutz. All right, let's start off with Mitchell Trubisky. He's projected for 18.7 points going against that Green Bay defense, who's been pretty good against the pass. You know, they're fourth in sacks this year, getting after the quarterback. They haven't been allowing a lot of yards, as I was talking about the secondary in previous video. Jay Alexander's pretty good. Jackson's pretty good, the other rookie. Kentrell Bryce is hurt, as I mentioned before, the safety. They got Tremont Williams, the other safety. Clay Matthews is consistent as always, and they're to mention though they're 26th in the league in interceptions, which with only 7. So Trubisky shouldn't be throwing picks. He's been taking care of the ball lately. I think he's going to make the right read. I saw something on with Trubisky. I think Chris Collinsworth might have mentioned it, that he always goes to his first option, leads the league in his first option. So Maggie's been drawing up those good plays, so he doesn't have to do a lot of reads. He's looking for his first option, and for the most part, he's been open. So I think he's going to have a good week. I think that's a pretty good projection. I think he's going to flirt around 20 points. I think that's good output for quarterback. Next, we got Todd Gurley, projected for 21.5 points against the Philadelphia Eagles. They haven't been great against the run. They're 10th in yards game, but they're 28th in yards per carry. So I think teams just aren't running against the Eagles because the Eagles' secondary is banged up and teams just passing all over them. As we saw Amari Cooper just shred those dudes. But when teams do run, they've been efficient. I expect the Rams to definitely try to establish the run. We saw last week against the Bears what it looks like when they don't get Gurley going. They weren't even trying to give Gurley the rock last week against the Chicago defense. Jordan Hicks has been banged up, their middle linebacker. I think he's going to play this week, but when he doesn't play, it's been bad. So if they get him back, he'll be a big plus. But I still think Gurley's going to eat. I think he's going to feast. I think 21.5 is a high projection. I think he's going to meet her. He's going to go around that. I think he's going to get close to 25, in my opinion. Next, we got Lamar Miller, projected for 13 points against the New York Jets. Jets don't have a great run D. You know, they got some players drafted recently. Guy from Ohio State is Darren Lee, the linebacker. He's not bad. Jamal Adams is really good at safety when he's flirting around in the box. He's making plays all the time. But guy from the USC, Leonard Williams, hasn't been as great as I thought. I thought he was going to really be one of the best interior linemen. At one point, they had Leonard Williams, Muhammad Wilkerson, and Sheldon Richardson, and it was looking like that was the best D-line in the league as far as a 3-4 front. But they obviously got rid of Muhammad Wilkerson's on the Packers now, Sheldon Richardson on the Vikings now, and they're just left with Leonard Williams, and he hasn't been great. I thought he was going to be the next stud, but he really hasn't been. So their run D is not great, as they're 27th in yards allowed, over 1,700 so far in the season, and they've been letting up 13 rushing touchdowns, which is 23rd in the league. I think Miller, he's Jekyll and Hyde, though. You never know what we're going to get from Miller. And Dante Foreman is might be coming back. So I think 13 is honestly a little high for Miller. I think they're going to give Alfred Blue some run. I think Foreman might even get a couple carries or two. I'm not sure if he's playing or not. Really don't know on the situation. I just know he got taken off IR. So I think Miller will flirt around kind of 10. Next, we got Amari Cooper, projected for 13.5 points a game, going against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts have a pretty good pass D. They're 15th in the league, averaging or letting up 3,151 yards. Amari Cooper's, like I said, last 3 games over 29 points a game. Colts only have a lot of good corners. I looked it up. I'd never even heard of the guys, to be quite honest with you. I'm not gonna fake that one. Also, they got no Michael Gallup. He might not play this week. If he's hurt, I think they're going to force feed Cooper. Obviously, Cole Beasley is going to get his looks on third downs, but outside of that, if there's no Gallup, there's not going to be a lot of guys to throw to. So I think they're really going to give it to Cooper. And look at the Colts' defense. Actually, it's worth noting they're 31st in the league in allowing completion percentage, which is pretty surprising. Next, we got T.Y. Hilton going against the Dallas D, so it's inverse of the previous position. Dallas D's, I mentioned earlier, great defense, but they're not great in their pass D. They're 9th in yards, 13th in yards per attempt. They've allowed 19 touchdowns, which is about average. Curious to see who checks T.Y. It might be a Uzie, who's kind of the quicker guy. Byron Jones is more lengthy boundary corner who kind of checks the bigger guys. He really did a good job with Michael Thomas, does a good job against the bigger guys. So I'm curious to see if they have Byron Jones cover him. Hilton's a speedster, as we know. One big deep threat could take the top. One big deep pass could take a top off the defense. That can, really give you a solid output for Hilton. Sorry, I didn't mention he's projected to average 12.9 points a game against Dallas. I think that's pretty fair. I think he'll flirt around that. If he gets a touchdown, he gets a big player here or there, I think he can get over that. So I think that's a good baseline. I think he's going to get at least that. Next, we got George Kittle's just been tearing it up. I looked at his game log, and he's just been ripping it up this season. They got not a lot of weapons to throw to, so they're going to really give him a lot of run. He's going to get a lot of targets. I expect at least 8 to 10 targets, and for a tight end, that's a lot. Playing Seattle, he's projected for 12.4 points this game, and that's quite a bit for a tight end. Seattle defense has been playing well. It's not the old Legion of Boom as we expected. It's obviously the new age guys, but they've been playing well. Frank Clark is really good. Bobby Wagner. So I think Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright is going to get a lot of action on Kittle. We'll see how they do. Safeties, I can't think of them off the top of my head. I know Earl Thomas is obviously out for the year. So we'll see how Kittle does. I think Shanahan's definitely going to scheme some ways up like he does every week to get Kittle the ball, get him open, get the ball to him in open space so he make the guy miss. He's a very explosive tight end. Give you some stats. Seattle's 21st in completion percentage at 66.4%. 17th in passing yards allowed with a little over 3,200 so far in the year. And they're letting up 21 pass touchdowns, which is 21st in the league. So I think Kittle's going to have a good game. I think 12.4 is right around his mark. Now on the flex, he's got Jarvis Landry projected to average 10 points a game against this Denver defense. And it's at Denver, so we'll see how that does. Could it be cold? Ball will travel further, but we'll see how the Denver air affects this. I was supposed to say Miami offense. The Cleveland Browns offense, who's been playing well. Without their offensive guru Hugh Jackson, they're actually been playing a lot better. Couple stats which I talked about before with Denver. They're not the old Denver D we've been used to the past couple of years, but they're 64.5 completion percentage, which is 16th in the league, which is important because Landry's a high catch guy, not a big yards guy. So to really see how they, it's not, you don't have to be weird up with the big play for this guy. It's all the little underneath stuff. And they're near the bottom of the league, 29th in yards per attempt. So people have been passing deep on Denver. Let's see how that affects Landry's usage. You see if they go to Callaway or Rashard Higgins on the outside a little more, knowing they can throw it deep. It's also, I mentioned earlier, but I'll repeat it again because a lot of these people have the same matchup. So I say the same thing for some teams. Chris Harris is banged up. I think he's gonna go. He's always been their slot guy. I think he's getting a lot of run on Landry. Chris Harris is really effective, even though he's getting a little older. I think he's 28, 29 at least, so he's getting up there for a corner. But he's really good. I expect him, if he plays, he's gonna check Landry, so we could limit him. I think 10. It's pretty low for Landry, and I think it should be because I think Harris is gonna do a good job on him. I think Denver could disrupt that offense, but I don't know if Denver's gonna show up. They lost against the Niners, who are a bad team, of course, without Garoppolo. So I don't know if Denver's playing hard for the coach, Vance Joseph. But 10's fair because Jarvis hasn't been having a good year. It's all about catches, but he hasn't been having a high catch rate on his targets. I think it's a him and Baker chemistry thing. They'll get that sorted out in the future, but for now, it hasn't been having a great year. So 10's pretty fair. He's starting the Chiefs defense right now, which is interesting, and they're projected to go for 5.4 points a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. I've talked a lot about this game. I know I've mentioned it. There's a lot. It's funny because there's just a lot of guys that these teams play on the Chiefs and Chargers offenses, because they're obviously two of the most explosive offenses in the league. And as I said like 4 times in my previous videos, they're playing Thursday night. So that's going to be a great game. I look forward to watching it. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I think that Chiefs defense is going to get, I think they're going to get some points scored on them. I expect Chargers to go for at least 30. We don't know if Melvin Gordon's playing or not. Also, Eric Berry might be back in the lineup this week. So that's a huge boost, not just his play, but emotionally and his leadership. He's their heart of that defense ever since Derrick Johnson left. Let's see here. Some facts. It's interesting. The Chargers are last in the league in giveaways at only 10. So they're not going to turn it over. So they're not going to get points off interceptions or fumbles or whatnot. So he better hope the Chiefs try to limit the Chargers here. So, like I was mentioned earlier, we don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to play or not. But either way, that Chargers offense is explosive enough with Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, Antonio Gates. What other running back they slide out there? They're fifth in the league in points for at 28.2. Kicker, he's got Will Lutz. He's projected for 8.7 points a game against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers' defense has been struggling lately. I think the Saints are going to trounce them. I think the Saints are going to get back on track. People are saying that defense has figured out to stop their offense. I don't buy it. I just think Dallas had a great showing, and I think they're going to have to slow start against Tampa Bay. They're playing at Carolina, so they won't be in the Dome, so that's a win for Carolina's defense, but I think you're going to see a lot of scoring. I think Drew Brees is going to pass all over this secondary, and I think Will Lutz is going to get around that. I think he's going to get around 10, so it's going to be interesting. So now I broke down the teams. In my next video, I will give a quick synopsis on what I think is going to happen and who will win and who will advance to the championship. Hope you stick around for that.